Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, September 8th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open up in about 10 minutes. So happy Monday, everyone. Um, let's see, I marked up structure over here. You guys can see prices kind of been consolidating here within this range right here. So what you want to look for here is price to break out of this range. You might get an initial break above or initial break below. But the main thing here is you want to look for it to actually hold above or below this level. Because if anything, price may push up, fake out, pull back into the range, or vice versa, break below and pull back into the range here as well. This is inflation week, so we have CPI, PPI, Michigan consumer sentiment. It all starts on a Wednesday, so today's kind of slow. There's not really much news today, so we might get a ranging market. So we might get a ranging market today. There's a revision for NFP tomorrow. Um, we've never had this before actually, or not that I can remember, but there's a non-farm payrolls annual revision. Maybe we've had it and I just don't remember it because it happens like very rarely. But the real news happens over here on Wednesday. So Wednesday we have PPI, Thursday we have CPI. PPI is producer price index, Thursday CPI, which is consumer price index. So producer inflation, consumer inflation, and then Friday we have Michigan consumer sentiment, which puts the data together as a whole. So we might get a slow week in the beginning, Monday, Tuesday, because there's not really many news events here. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will pick up with volatility. So it's just something to keep in mind. Doesn't necessarily mean like, don't take anything or just don't be too scared to take anything. Just be aware that the market here might be a little choppy up until Wednesday. And it happens every month. This is second week of September. This happens pretty much every month. So second week of every month we have inflation data, and typically it's going to be kind of slow early on in the week, and then it'll continue on. So let me go ahead and mark up liquidity over here real quick, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis of the market today. So let's mark up liquidity up here. We have an untested higher high right there, untested lower low. I'm going to go down to the 8 hour. I'm not going to go too far out because it's pretty pointless because I'm not expecting price to drop like 1,000 points. So I think this is cool to go where price is likely to push. The ATR right now is not super high, but it may pick up as market opens up. So let's go down to the 2 hour right here, untested high, untested low. 1 hour. So you guys can see here, I mean, it might look like it's a little complicated the way that I'm marking up liquidity here, but once you've done it a few times or once you've seen me do it a few times, it's not really difficult. It's really just marking up these untested high lows. All right. Looks good, looks good. Going down to the 10 minute. You guys can see the big spike over here on Friday for NFP kind of like shook out a lot of the liquidity. So this week we're probably going to establish more. So let's go back to that 10 minute real quick. You guys can see here, it's pretty obvious the consolidation phase, right? Market moved a lot here on Friday, and then it's pretty much been going sideways ever since. So this is what I was just talking about right now, guys. Price is in a range right now. So what you want to see is for price to break above and hold above this area, and or price to break below and hold below this area. The thing is you don't want to get in right away because you want it to actually hold. Because if price does push above this area, it may fake out and pull back into the range, and then vice versa the other way. If you guys are familiar with the head and shoulders pattern, basically a head and shoulders or a inverted head and shoulders, which is likely to be the manipulated pattern that may show up. But we'll see. We'll obviously, there's no telling exactly what's going to happen here. This is a brand new week, so we'll have to see when the market actually opens up. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, September 8th. Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. 6:24 right now. Market's opening up in about 6 minutes. I'll know the direction of the momentum breakout in about 6 minutes, or 5 minutes, actually. So a minute prior to opening, I'll know the direction of the momentum breakout. As you guys can see right here, the overall direction right now with regard to market structure is currently very, very bullish. You can see over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, everything is very, very bullish, right? So I'm probably going to be looking for some buys today. Also looking over here at the overall trend, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute shorter time frames, they're all bullish. You can see here that price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. This indicates that we should probably be looking for some buys today. If you look over here on the 15 though, so let's go from the 15 and higher. basically the 15, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour price is pretty much going sideways, right? So it's very obvious right here on the 15-minute time frame that price has not really gone anywhere. So I've kind of gone over this a couple times today. Just be careful with your guys' entries initially on open. For this week, it is inflation week. If you guys are just joining in, Monday and Tuesday don't really have heavy news events. The big news events come on Wednesday, which is PPI, Producer Price Index, Thursday, which is CPI, Consumer Price Index, and Friday, which is Michigan consumer sentiment, which puts, both of the inflation news together. So basically on Wednesday, it's PPI producer price index, which is going to go over, the producer inflation. And then Thursday, CPI, which is consumer price index, which is going to go over the consumer inflation. And then Friday, it's going to put all that data together with the Michigan consumer sentiment with regard to, whether inflation is good or bad. Um, my guess this week is that this is going to be a bullish week because next week we have Fed data, right? So next week we're expecting a interest rate cut of 25 basis points. So with that being the case, expect a lot of manipulation here to the upside, which, there's no surprise here. This is kind of what we expected. Like, for example, over here, NFP that happened last week, manipulation to the downside and then huge correction right back up. It makes no difference with the news for this week as well, right? We're expecting price to get pumped up a little bit, and then we're going to be expecting price to make its way back down as the interest rates happen or the interest rate cuts happen next week. So, you just got to play by ear, guys. I've talked about this before. I do expect price to be kind of baked into current market conditions. So we're expecting price to push up and then possibly come down later next week. But I mean, who knows, right? We're not we're not we can't foretell the future like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to watch price, see how market reacts to the data that comes out, and then we'll take entries based off those reactions. So don't try to get too ahead of yourself, guys. I mean, of course, be patient, especially on a Monday, and take it candle by candle. So let's see what's here so far. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Ben. Morning, Karen. Morning, everybody. Looks like people are still joining in. We got market opening up in about 3 minutes, guys. If you guys are just joining in, I've marked up liquidity over here. I've marked up market structure. As you can see over here, price was in a range prior to market open. This is what you want to be careful for. Price has initially just broken out of the range here. What you might see happen here is a fake out and a pullback into this range. This range right here down the middle is kind of where price has been sitting pretty much since market has opened up, right down the middle right here. Every time price pushes outside of it, a fake out. Look how price pushes up right here, fake out, pull back in, right? Fake out, pull back in, drops below, fake out, pull back in, drops below again right here, fake out, pull back in. Again right here, don't expect anything different. Same pattern again, price breaks outside, fake out right back into this middle range. So if you guys are looking at current price here, I mean, you guys can see here that price has not really done much except fake out and pull back into this middle area. So whenever price breaks out of these areas, you want to look for a price to hold above or below this area. Don't necessarily jump in right away. Like, if you see a high-low break and retest, don't just jump in right away just because you see a high-low break and retest, right? Make sure that you confirm it before you actually get into it because you can see over here another fake out and pull back into the middle range. So like I said, guys, just be smart about your entries today. Expect a lot of probably choppiness and back and forth movement. If you guys look at my daily outlook for the day right here, my overall market bias is neutral to cautionally bullish with medium conviction. Alignment score is only 5 out of 10, so it's not a very strong confirmation or confluence here. This just means that price will likely be range bound and probably push up eventually. So guys, we got market opening up in about a minute. The momentum breakout is going to be a sell for today. I would be careful taking sells because, like I said, the overall bias right now is very bullish, right? Overall bias over here was bullish. Now it's turning bearish. So it doesn't necessarily need a hold. But I would look for a possible fake out below, maybe drop a little bit and then come right back up. So same like the fake out right here. I'm going to be looking for this to fake out below and pull back above. So just keep that in mind. Looking over here at the overall trend, it's pretty mixed, right? The higher time frames are currently neutral, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. Price is in between the pivots. Pivots are going sideways. Trend meter is blue. So with that being the case, let's see what happens here when market opens up in about 10 seconds, guys. We got market opening up here in 10 seconds. We got market opening up in about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. A momentum breakout for today is a sell if anybody's looking to take that. Like I said, the overall bias here is a little tricky. because it was bullish prior, and there we go with the momentum breakout pushing down. Let's see over here if it's already hit. There we go. If you guys took that momentum breakout. So you can see over here from this candle, price pretty much pushed up a little bit and it dropped straight down. So the momentum breakout looks like it already hit full TP right there, 50 points. Not sure if you caught it, that arc. I know Arik is one of the main people here who's taking this, probably Sam as well, both of you guys. Momentum breakout right there, full TP for 50 points, and it is pushing down further, possibly to 100. But there we go. First trade for the day, first trade for the week. Momentum breakout right there, full TP for 50 points. It's pushing down further right here. It might hit the full 100, but the 50's pretty much been hit. So if you guys want to move your stop loss and profit to the 50 and shoot for the 100, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, let's go back to our charts over here. We're going to be looking for the orb. I mean, this orb is going to be pretty messy because price is so far. I mean, this thing's dumped pretty heavily. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta think twice about this orb here. This orb is going to be very tricky. See, I like when the orb creates a nice range, but this range is pretty wide. It's pretty far out. So we got an orb low right here. I'm assuming if it does close like this, orb low is going to be at 45,385, or it might push even lower. We got an orb high right here at 45,505. All right, we'll see. The ATR right now is currently at 18. All right, guys. So here's the orb low right here. The orb low is at 45,385. If you guys are looking to take this orb, you're gonna look for price to break and close below it, retest, and confirm lower. Actually, it's dropped lower from here, guys. So that's not the orb low. Orb low is actually at 45,374. All right, so I'll be watching here. Again, what might happen here is possibly a fake out. So price pretty much blasted through liquidity here. This could be a possible fake out from below and a pullback up to this upper range. Tricky market right now. This is kind of what we expected. I expected kind of like some choppiness here, some fake outs. We got to see if price holds below this area. So 45,374 is going to be the orb low. If you're going to take the orb sell over here for the orb entry, you're going to look for price to break and close below this orb low, retest, and come down lower. We've got to see this as like good price action to the downside, right? Because the thing with this is that price was bullish prior, and now it is starting to kind of bounce back and forth. Yeah, Paul over here mentioned this screams Trap Tuesday. I wouldn't trade this at all if I got back into this. Yeah, exactly. A lot of traps right here. You guys can see prices swinging back up. Like I said earlier, this could be a possible fake out and swing back up to open right there. This is kind of what I was expecting anyways. Like I mentioned earlier, don't chase the moves. Look for a confirmation and look for price to actually hold in that area. Yeah, so no entry there yet. Just looking to see if my swings got filled. Of course not. Not yet. Not quite. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit. So let's clean this up. We got some structure down here. All right, so I got a support level down here. This is on the higher time frame, guys. So I mean, you guys probably won't be able to see how I got that structure there, but there is structure there. I have structure right here as well. We have a huge imbalance. There's a lot of imbalances here with this big drop that just happened. So just something to keep in mind. Let me mark the imbalance here. This imbalance is huge. So price is retesting the imbalance right now as we speak. This right here is a very strong imbalance to the downside. Within this imbalance, we do have a lot of support. So we got a support level right here and a support level right here. The support level was broken, but you can see over here that this is retesting the areas. So there's going to be a couple of things here. Price may bounce off this support and come back down lower, or price may push up even higher to this support and bounce down lower, right? There's two areas here for bounce. Price can either bounce from here, price can bounce from here, or price can fake out and pull back up to the opening price, which is ideally where I think is price is going to go. A lot of fake outs right here. Price is in the middle of the imbalance right now. This huge imbalance came from this candle right here, right? So there's a gap right here between this red candle and this red candle right here. That's where the imbalance was created because there's a huge red candle right here down the middle, right? So looking at price structure over here, we're going to be looking for price um, to either, invalidate and mitigate this imbalance, or we're going to look for it to bounce off the imbalance and continue down lower. So we got to keep an eye out on this because if this is the case, price may push above and it may break above this orb high right here, right? So the orb high is at 45,505. Um, it's going to be tricky because we don't know if price is going to break above the orb high or if price is going to come back below, break below the orb low. Price is already across the middle point right here of the orb. So I mean, we'll see. This could really go either way. Price can come right back down, break below and continue, or price can break above this area back to open and continue climbing up higher. Ideally, I was expecting price to be bullish anyways. So, I mean, ideally, I would look for this move right here because I was waiting for this bullish move to happen. Looks like a lot of people who chase the sells here are getting wiped out, right? This is pretty much what I warned you guys about on market open. I said, don't chase these moves because wait for the confirmation. Because look over here, price is pulling back into this middle range, right? I mentioned earlier pre-market price has been within this range. That's exactly where price is trying to go back to, right? So again, if price stays below here, great. If it doesn't stay below here, then look for price to correct back up. Right here, price rejected directly off the middle of the imbalance. Now, what I'm going to be looking for here is either a continuation to the downside. So right here, break and retest off the imbalance, and then hold below this lower area. Or I'm gonna look for price here to kind of fake out a little bit, right? Lure in some more sellers, because this is typically what happens. It's gonna lure in some sellers. It'll fake out again, maybe range here for a little bit, go complete opposite and stop out all the sellers. So you gotta analyze the market from a full perspective, guys. Just because prices drop, don't think that price is gonna drop forever, right? Look for the fake out. In this type of market, the main thing you should look for is not really direction, but look for the fake out, right? Look for people to get faked out, look for traders to get trapped, and then look for the actual correction and real direction after it. Because that's likely what's going to happen here. What I can see happening here is I don't think price is going to hold below here. I think what's going to happen here is price is going to sit around this area, keep on luring in sellers, and then eventually price is going to break above, stop them all out, and go for a bullish push, right? I think that's kind of what's going to happen here. There's no guarantee it's going to happen. We don't know for sure. But from my perspective here, that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm still looking for the orb though, so don't get me wrong. If price does come below here, I'll probably come and take the orb. But it's gonna have to be a pretty clean break. Like it's gonna have to break below it pretty cleanly, retest, and continue lower. I'm only going for 40 points, so it's not gonna be a huge push to the downside. But if we do get that right there, I'll be looking for it. So I'm still looking for the orb high or the orb below here to get broken. All right, guys, we got price coming back down. I'm gonna be watching the price action here. So we got that break and retest off the imbalance. Again, if price breaks below here again, you got to look for it to hold. That's the key thing, right? If anything, price might just range here for a bit before actually, making its move. So I'm going to be watching the candles right here. Again, this is dropping right below again. I'm looking for it to break past this orb low, which is at 45,734, or sorry, 45,374. And I'm gonna look at the price action to see if it's a clean break and continuation. It's got to be a clean break. I can't get it where it's like testing, testing, testing. I don't like that, right? I need it to be a clean break past it, retest, continuation. Also, I'm gonna be following it to make sure it's not a huge candle either. Like I'm not looking for this to be a huge, huge candle and then retraces up and reverses. So I'll be looking at the price action here off these candles. We have another imbalance right here that's starting to produce another imbalance right here between this red candle and this red candle right there. So basically another imbalance right there. All right, guys, I'm watching this orb low. Not going to get into this one right here. It's right on the line. Yeah, so this thing did break below it like really, really tightly, but I'm not going to consider that like a clean break, right? I'll be watching here again. If this here again breaks below it again, and it's a clean break and it holds below this point, then I'll look to maybe place my pending order there. But this thing is like, it's way too close. This thing closed at the last second, not exactly my setup there. So I'm not counting this as a break. Or I mean, it's a break, but I'm not counting it as a close below because this thing literally came down at the very, very last second. So I'll keep watching it here. This could be a possible fake out again. Pull it back to the range. So I'll be watching it right here. Okay, if this is the case right here, I don't like the price action. You see the big wick on the bottom. I'm going to be watching it here. If this here closes pretty cleanly, which it's not, look at this big wick right there. Yeah, not going to take the orb here, guys. If you guys want to take it, feel free to take the orb. Orb is going to be right here at 45,734. I'm using my own discretion here to stay out of this position. I'll be looking for possible high-low break and retest lower, but the orb there is just not going to cut it for me. It's just not going to cut it for me today, guys. There's a high-low break and retest that's happening right here. What I'm worried about is a fake out right here, right? So I'm worried that price is going to fake out below this point, pull back into the range. Because the price action here is just not that good, right? We've seen the price action here. This candle closed very low at the last second. So this was like up here and then it closed at the last second. I was tempted to get in right here, but I looked at the price action on this candle and you can see how this here was coming down a bit, but then it kept swinging back up. So it came down a little bit, swung up, wick on the bottom. Same with what's happening here, right? Price is kind of trying to hold below, it's trying to hold below this level, but see how it's failing to actually hold below it? This shows that there's not enough volatility behind it. So price is trying to get below this point, but it doesn't have enough power to stay below here. So what I'm worried about is that price is going to swing back up, stop out, and then maybe come back down later. But I'm not going to take that risk, guys. Today's Monday. There's no need to get into any unnecessary risk today. You have a whole week of ahead of you guys. So I'm not in this position here. I'll follow it for you guys, but I'm not in the position here for the orb low. I'll be following it for a following position though. So I'll be looking for a possible continuation down lower. But like I said, I don't really like the area right here. I need to have some better confirmation as price continues to move along. So not to say that the orb here is not going to hit, but you guys can see here price is kind of going back and forth a lot. This isn't the type of market conditions you want to be trading the orb in anyways, right? The orb is good in a market where price is moving directional. So right now, market is kind of going sideways. This is not a good market for the orb or for directional strategies right now. Because for directional strategies, you need price to be moving downwards, right? Like this, right? In downwards trend. Or you want price to be moving upwards in an upwards trend, right? We don't really have that here right now. Price is going back and forth. See, if I was in this orb right here, this would have stressed me out because this thing should have hit already, right? Price broke below, you're looking for the retest, drop right down on target right away. So I use my discretion here to stay out of this position. Another thing with this here is that my overall bias wasn't very strong for bearish, right? Market structure here is starting to look bearish, but it was bullish pre-market. So pre-market, it was very bullish. Now it's starting to flip to bearish, which is completely fine. We can have that. But right now, I just don't have the confirmation. So I'd rather wait a little bit for there to be confirmation for the bearish bias. And then once there's confirmation, I'll look for a continuation entry. So again, if you guys are in this position here, I'll be following it for you guys. I'm not in the orb, but if you guys are in the orb, we're following this position for you guys here. The stop loss and profit should be moved in at 30. So once price reaches 30 points right here. Yeah, once price reaches 30 points right there, you can move your stop loss and profit to 10 points to guarantee profits. Otherwise, just hang on to it. So it's almost down to the 30 right there. So what I'm saying over here is if price ends up pushing to this 30, move your stop loss and profits, guarantee profits. And then from there, you can go for the full 40 or you can guarantee profits at 10. Sam over here mentioned full TP for him for 15. He took it on retracement. Nice work, Sam. So Sam got in for a quick little push. He got the retracement, fill, dropped to 15 points, and he got out really quickly. So again, looking at the market structure over here, guys, again, this is what I just mentioned earlier. This is not the type of market that you want to be taking directional entries in, right? If you want to take sweeps, so be it. Sweeps are fine, but directional entries right now are going to be very, very tricky. So the orb is still running, but it's not looking super hot, right? The orb is supposed to fill right away and go straight to target. When it starts to go sideways like this makes you think twice about your position. Not to say that it's not going to hit, right? I would never fade my own analysis. Like my analysis here was for the orb sell, or not necessarily the orb sell, but the orb in general. So price is pushing down. It's almost at 30. All right, full 30 right there. If you guys want to move your stop loss and profit, lock in the guaranteed profits and full TP right there for 40 points. So if you guys caught that, great work. I wasn't willing to take that risk today. Today is Monday. We have a whole week ahead of us. So great work right there. If you guys caught that, both breakouts for today, full TP. If you guys took the momentum breakout, full TP right there for 50 points, it shot for a full 100. So what I'll do here is I'll also document these trades in the Discord because I know a lot of you guys are trying to follow to see how, well, what's the win percentage for these trades, even though I'm not taking them, but I will put them over here. So this is a full TP um, for the momentum breakout. So full TP right there. I didn't take the trade, but I'm going to put this down here because I know a lot of you guys have been asking, what are the win rates? What like, how are these entries hitting? I'll just put these here so that you guys can follow it. And if you guys want to, take your own data on it, you guys are more than welcome to do that. Yeah, I mean, it's good to know so that you guys have an idea of like what to look out for. If you guys want to take the momentum breakout, I know for me personally, I don't really take the momentum breakout as much anymore. I do look for the orb entries, but not necessarily the momentum breakout. So full TP right there on that orb. Looks like a good handful of you guys took that there. So props to you guys for having the patience of holding on to that position. I think, this here would have stressed me out a bit. Even though it did hit, this would have stressed me out a bit because every time it would have came up, I would have thought, okay, man, maybe I should pull out of this position early, right? Because of, all of the back and forth movement there. So, all right, with that being said, we have a new low down here. Looks like we're getting a sweep right here off this lower low or the previous lower low, which came out prior. The support levels here, there's a bunch of imbalances here, which came up. So there's this big imbalance. There's another smaller imbalance here. Um, yeah, so I'll draw up the imbalances as they come up so that we can use this as a confluence. But like I said, we're still in a pretty tricky market here. I think this may correct back up eventually. 647 right now. Nice. Longy got it. CJ got it. Yeah, Talonji actually got it for MPS. Nice work, Talonji. Nice. Daniel got the orb, 50 points. Yeah, Daniel got it for 50. Finally, orb got a good win. Hasn't been super on point lately. Yeah, these past 2 weeks we've been in a super choppy market, so the orb hasn't really been super clean. So again, right here, look how price is now starting to fake out back to the upside. This is what I was worried about, right? I was worried that price was going to do this, shoot right back up, which is happening now. Thankfully, it didn't happen when the orb was running, but it is happening now where we have this huge spike to the upside. This is what I was worried what was going to happen. I was looking for a possible maybe fake out right here and push right back up. And it's happening. It's just happening after the orb hit, which is great because we want the orb to hit first and then the fake out to happen after, right? So a lot of good entries today so far. Sweep, orb. I'll mark the sweep right here. So there's a sweep off this liquidity level. We'll use this as a confluence. So this will be a confluence right here so that we can follow through. Have the sessions on. All right, let's turn the sessions on right there. All right, so we're retesting the imbalance right here, guys. Price has shot back up, retested this imbalance right here. We'll see if it holds. If it holds right there, great. And we'll see if there's going to be a continuation to the downside. If price breaks above it, then we'll invalidate this and there'll be an imbalance from the lower end here. There's actually another imbalance right here. There's two imbalances. So, all right, guys, if you guys are just joining in, there was a couple entries which came up today. So we had We had the momentum breakout over here, full TP for 100 points. We had the orb over here hit full TP for 40 points. We had a high-low break and retest, which happened right here as well. Another full TP for 40 points. Yeah, there's a couple entries which came up today. It was not a clean. There were no clean entries here. So to be exact, there was just not very many clean entries here. The entries did hit, but they weren't very clean. So we had a high-low break and retest right there that lined up with the orb entry at this lower low. We had a sweep which happened right here. We had the orb hit right here, and then we had the momentum breakout right there. So pretty much all the entries which appear today have hit. I'll be looking for a possible entry right here. There's a possible opportunity here for a high-low break and retest at this lower low. It's gonna be at 45,321. The thing with that orb entry right there, guys, is that it was like it was very, very tricky because if you look over here, so the orb entry happened right here off this close. If you guys are following with me when it happened, it closed like at the last second. This thing pushed down at the very, very last second, and then it closed below it. And then this one over here, the follow-up candle wasn't very strong. It came down a little bit, and then it created this lower wick at the last second. So that's why I held off on the orb here, although the orb did hit pretty nicely. Let's see. Samir said, thank you. Good for such a Monday. Took the orb, risky but worth it. Nice work, Samir. Yeah, nice work, everybody. Looks like a lot of you guys here did pretty well on the entries so far. So if you guys haven't taken anything, don't worry, guys. More entries are going to come and opportunities are going to present themselves. The thing that you have to understand with trading for majority of you guys is that, the market's endless. So even if you miss an entry here and there, as long as you're patient, you can wait for the next opportunity to present itself. It's going to come up at some point, right? It always does. So just be patient, wait for the entry to come up, and then once it does, we'll be looking for opportunity here for entry. Price is now below the orb. So what we want to see here is you want price to actually hold below here and continue dropping lower, right? So we got price coming back down right here. We had a break and retest off the imbalance. So price broke below here, created an imbalance, retested right there. So what I'm looking for here next is I'm looking for price to drop lower, break below this lower low, and continue on lower from there to the next level of sessions below. So this is going to be the next opportunity for my entry. It's going to be right here at this lower low. So I'm looking for price to break and close below this point and continue lower from here. Just a matter of time until price chooses the direction, whether it comes right back up or whether it comes down lower. But I'll be waiting for it. So overall market structure right here, if you look over here down below, currently right now the 1 minute's neutral, 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour's neutral, and the 4 hours bullish. Looking over here on the overall trend, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute lower time frames here are all bearish. Price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling to the downside. Over here on the higher time frames, price was neutral, it's now starting to shift to bearish. So with that being the case, we're probably going to be looking for some sells here. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be sells, right? This can easily shift. So what we're looking at right now currently are for sells, but if price swings back up and goes back to open, which is this blue line right here, we may shift back to buys. But right now I'm looking for possible sells. The thing with this here is that market is starting to slow down a bit, right? We're getting closer to 7 o'clock. As you guys know, 7 o'clock is when the market starts to die down a little bit. We had all the action right here, not pre-market, but initially on open. And then now the volatility here is starting to slow down a bit. The ATR is currently at 26, so it's not a dead market. It's just the current candles right now are starting to slow down. So these candles right here in comparison to the previous candles are extremely small, right? Just measuring the bodies here, they're like less than 10 points. We don't want that. We want volatility to stay pretty high or decently high at least. Um, Man, the market structure here is kind of shifted around a bit. So we had, let me clean up this imbalance. I'll leave the imbalance actually. The imbalance looks good right there. So looking at this so far, we currently have price swinging back up, which is completely fine. Like I said, if price swings back up, we may shift from a sell to a buy. this is kind of what we were expecting, right? So if you look over here at my daily outlook for the day, we mentioned that, what's likely to happen is a range bound to mildly upward drift. And that's kind of what I'm seeing right here, right? We had a big range over here that's been created. And then we're looking for now an upward drift back up to open. So we'll see. Price again right here is retesting the imbalance. If price closes above this imbalance, it's going to invalidate it, mitigate this imbalance. So we'll be able to take this off and it'll be looking for a possible correction back to the upside. If that's the case, completely fine. No longer going to be looking for a sell right here. Price never made it below this point. So if this is the case, you might see a correction back up from here. No guarantee, but it's just a matter of time until we have that confirmation. So just got to be patient here. Just got to be patient and wait for some more confirmation and confluences. All right, we got price pushing up. This imbalance here has been mitigated, no longer there. All right, we have an imbalance right here. So we have an imbalance within the support level, which is going to be, I guess I don't need to mark this up as an imbalance because we have a support here. So what I'd be looking for here, I mean, there's already a retest of this area with this previous, with this most recent candle right here, price broke above it, retested immediately. But like I just said, right now there's an imbalance, which is right here. I don't even have to mark it up because it's an imbalance within a support. So it doesn't matter what we identify it as. Like we can identify it as an imbalance right here, but it wouldn't matter because same thing, support and imbalance. What we would look for here for confirmation is for a retest of the support level slash imbalance. So here we go again. Price is attempting to retest this big imbalance right here. There's actually a smaller imbalance within this. So this is the problem with people identifying imbalances is that there's too many imbalances here that appear, right? There's another imbalance which is right here. This is actually confirmation now. So we got a big imbalance right here off this huge red candle, and then we have another smaller imbalance right here with this kind of big red candle right here. This is actually a break and retest off this imbalance. So I'm using this right here as a confluence. Not necessarily for an entry here, but this is what I'm looking for as a confluence. Price may come back down lower and provide opportunity right here for this high-low break and retest. So the initial high-low break and retest that I was looking at earlier, this can still play out. So I'm not done with this high-low break and retest right here yet. So we had price over here, so it broke below, retested the big imbalance, broke below further, retested this imbalance, and now I'm looking for price to break below here and continue lower from this point. If price does drop lower, we do have targets right here. So if price gets down to this point, you can see this area right here, this price point is going to be the London low and New York low. So this is still a good area right here to look out for. The sells here are still pretty valid. It's just, we want to see price break and close below there and actually hold below the area. We're currently in a consolidation phase right now, so this isn't necessarily the best type of market conditions to trade in. But, we can follow it here, and if price action provides opportunity here for price to break and close below it plus retest, then this could be a nice setup here. It's just a matter of time until we have those confirmations. But again, we're just waiting here for this here to confirm. No confirmation there. Again, we are just, again, waiting for confirmation here for price to actually move in a direction. Right now, price is kind of sitting here down the middle. Overall trend over here is still very bearish. So with that being the case, we're probably still going to look for sells here. If price decides to come up and mitigate all of these imbalances, that's completely fine, right? If it does that, then great. We'll look for buys here. But right now, we are currently looking for sells. Just at this moment. But we need this to actually drop below. No drop yet. 7 o'clock right now. So we got the new hour candle right here, currently opening. All right, this is the new hour candle. Let's see. Sam mentioned FYI gold all-time high. Japan Prime Minister resigned on the weekend. Oh, crazy. Good to know. Yeah, some news right there with the Prime Minister of Japan. I mean, their value of their yen was like so low, so it was time for him to resign. He's probably super stressed out about having to fix the situation that he was, dealt with. If that's the case, then the yen's probably going to drop even further. Yeah, a lot of my friends have been traveling to Japan a lot lately because the dollar goes longer there, or it has been going longer there for the past year, couple years now, with the yen super weak. Let me check the news. So let's go to Biz Talk real quick. I haven't really checked any of the news events for today. Let's see. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. CNBC. Yeah, not really too much breaking news here right now. It's kind of a slow Monday for the most part. So it says S&P rises to start the week as traders look ahead to key inflation data. This was updated just a minute ago. Price is obviously not rising. Price went down pretty heavily. Uh, or let's see, let's measure it. Yeah, I mean, this is a 250 point drop. So CNBC hasn't updated anything yet. They haven't really reported on this drop here. So I think this is what's going to happen. So see over here how CNBC reported price being bullish. Um, so people pretty much got caught in the sell. I think in a little bit they're going to report that the market is down, and then when they report the market is down right here, that's what I'd look out for, guys. Look out for breaking news on CNBC, because once they report that the market is down, I could almost guarantee price is going to push right back up. Obviously, I can't make any guarantees here, but as soon as they report something like some sort of breaking news, people are gonna follow that. So if they report something and they say, "Oh, price is jumping," and then people start to sell off, it's too late, and then price is gonna correct all the way back up. If you guys have traded with me over the years, we use CNBC as a catalyst to do the opposite. Whenever CNBC reports something, you usually do the opposite because they reported late, and a lot of people who are following CNBC, they're gonna follow that, and price is gonna do the complete opposite. We've seen it happen so many times over the years. We had it happen a lot during COVID. We had it happen a lot when Trump was first president. It's crazy how much market is influenced by, a news source like CNBC. Not really the market in general, but mostly retail traders. So CNBC, again, they have not reported the drop here. Their last update was 30 minutes ago on market open. So just keep an eye out for the news. And of course, don't base your trade off the news, right? Don't base it off the news. Just use it as a confluence. Use it as some sort of catalyst to identify your entries. Again, right here, guys, I'm looking for a high-low break and retest off this lower low. I don't know if we'll get it because price here is pretty much ranging and consolidating within this middle area. So I'm not holding my breath here, waiting for this here to happen. But if it does happen, we will see what we can do with it. There's another imbalance right here, guys. It's a really small imbalance. I don't think it's worthy enough to really mark up. I think this support here is probably going to be a better structure to follow. So price over here is broken below structure here, which is a support. It's retesting right now. Maybe a continuation lower. And that continuation lower is a big maybe. All right. We got another support right here, a new support level off this higher low. All right, so here's the consolidation area right here. We have a support right here. Basically, support turn resistance. Price is basically consolidating within this middle area right here. Again, for me, I'm looking at this lower point right here for a possible high-low break and retest for continuation to the downside. We don't have that yet because price here is kind of just sitting around this middle area. I'll be watching it though. So I'll be following it here. I'll be watching it to see if there's going to be opportunity for a sell. But I'm not necessarily going to be jumping into this position, right? I'm just waiting. Just waiting, being patient, and anticipating a drop lower. All right. So nothing happening here, guys. Price is still sitting within this consolidation right here. We have price consolidating back and forth, back and forth. Again, there's two things that may, there's two things that I'm looking for here. I'm looking for price to break below this lower low. Here's a problem now. This lower low is not going to be the new lower low anymore. We have a new one right here. I won't take a high-low break and retest off this lower low. Just putting that out there because this consolidation range is not where I want to be trading in. I want price to be trading down here, not up here. All right. So again, guys, if you guys are just joining in, we had a couple entries here which came up so far. Our first entry for the day was a momentum breakout, full TP right here for 100 points. Then we had the orb entry over here, full TP for 40 points. And then we had a couple entries over here. This was a high-low break and retest, which aligned exactly with the orb low. And then we had a sweep right here off this lower low. There was another level that was down here as well, but we've deleted that. But it did align with this area right here. So basically, high-low break and retest, sweep, momentum breakout, orb sell. Nothing else is happening right here. The volatility is pretty much flattened out, and we are getting a sideways market here. I'm getting sick of these sideways markets, guys. Yeah, we're exiting the summer market, so like thankfully we're probably gonna the market's not gonna look like this over the next couple months, but we're still lingering in the summer market right now. So I'm hoping, mid to late September, we're gonna have the continued volatility from like from 6:30 to 8 o'clock right now. This has been like pretty much the recurring theme, right? Price moves between 6:30 and 7. 7 o'clock happens, price goes flat. That's just how the market's been. These are the market conditions we've been dealing with. Our edge still lies within the market as long as there's volatility, but the volatility here kind of dies out around 7 o'clock. So if I mark up right here, 7 o'clock, you guys can see we had nice volatility here between 6:30 and 7, and then now it's pretty much flattened out and starting to die here. All right, so we're getting above this range here, guys. So with this being the case, I'll be looking for price to push up higher. Um, there's just not really much here to follow because we're just in this back and forth range, right? I'm okay with taking buys here if price breaks above and starts climbing up higher. But the volatility here is, I mean, it's pretty flat for the most part. So we'll see. We will see here. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. There's nothing for me to take here, so I mean, this is a good time to ask questions because I can just answer whatever you guys need help with. So we have one question over here from Paul. Paul's asking, Sean, what exactly is a sweep? I don't seem to understand its concept and rules. Well, you can't see the level here because I deleted it already, but the sweep is basically when price comes down to basically a low or a high and it grabs a liquidity. So, I mean, you're familiar with liquidity because I mark up the liquidity pre-market, right? So earlier there was a level of liquidity which was right here. And this is where the sweep happened because there's a level of liquidity. The way that the sweep happens is price comes down, it grabs liquidity, and it sweeps away from it. So it's basically, it goes down and it grabs the stop losses, which are sitting at liquidity, and then it goes right back up. It's like a stop hunt, basically. So, I mean, if I see another example, I'll show you, but I can't show you where this level is because I already deleted it. If I zoom out really far back, okay, you can see it was right here. So we had a liquidity level, which was right here. This is from Friday. So basically what I had here is if people enter buys from this point, typically whenever people enter buys, they place your stop loss at the swing low, right, which is right here. So there could have been people who held positions right there from last week. And what happened here is price came down. It pretty much stopped those people out, and then it came right back up. That's why it's called a sweep. Because price comes down, grabs liquidity, it sweeps the liquidity, and then comes right back up. So if I see another one here, I'll show you. There could be a possible sweep right here. So this is another possible sweep off this higher high. There's no guarantee this is going to sweep, but this could be a possibility of a sweep level. So let me just mark up these levels. Guys, this lower low here is no longer going to be valid for our high-low break and retest because we have a new low right here. So I've deleted that markup, no longer looking for an entry at that point. But going back to what I was just saying here with Paul, we have a higher high right here, right? So we have an imbalance. There's a lot of structure here. So with there being a lot of structure, this could be a possible nice level of sweep. So looking at this here, what may happen is if price reaches this higher high, there's going to be two scenarios. Price is either going to sweep this level and come back into the range, right? That's the sweep pattern. Or the other pattern here is price breaks above the sweep and continues up higher. You're familiar with the liquidity push, right? So there's basically two different sides to it. There's a liquidity push where price breaks past it and continues up higher, or there's a liquidity sweep where price reverses from that liquidity level. So it's basically the opposite of the liquidity push, which we've taken in the past, and I'm sure you're familiar with. Um, it's just an opposite directional move. Let's see. Paul's asking, so sweep is a trade where you anticipated a reversal off a stop hunt. Yes, 100%, Paul. That's the basic simplified way. So I'm looking at this as an area where people place their stop losses. So say, for example, here, people entered a stop right here, right? Because it broke structure. Where their stop loss is going to be? Right here, right at the swing high. So what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting them to get stopped out. It doesn't have to stop out directly there, but it can push a little bit higher and it comes right back down, right? Because I'm sure this has happened to you, Paul. You traded before where you've gotten caught in these stop hunts, right? You enter a position, you're like, it gets close to your stop loss, and you're like, oh, you're praying that it comes back down. It literally triggers your stop loss and it comes right back in your direction. So we're pretty much reverse engineering people's entries. So like, for example, here, it's very strong for a bearish bias, right? So with it being very strong for a bearish bias, people would chase the sells here. And if you're chasing a sell, your stop loss is going to be right here. And this is kind of where we're expecting a liquidity pool to be sitting, right? A lot of liquidity sitting right there. A lot of people stop losses. A lot of people praying this is not going to get hit. A lot of times your stop loss gets hit and then comes right back down. So basically, yeah, like you said, reversal of a stop hunt. So it's not there yet. It's retesting the imbalance. And this also happens too sometimes, right? You guys have seen before where it gets really close to your stop loss, and then thank God it doesn't hit it and it comes right back down. And you're relieved, right? So yeah, what we're doing here is we're just trying to see where people's stop losses are being placed. And these stop hunts, they're not real, right? I mean, like a lot of people like to call these stop hunts like, the institutions and the market makers are hunting your stops. They're not really hunting your stops. They're just, your stop is just in an area where a lot of people place your stop losses, and it's in the way of order flow, right? Because market's basically flowing to the upside. And then it's just to keep the market efficient, it has to go back to these high lows. Because if you ever look back, price always returns to these high lows at some point. So there we go with that right there. Let's see. Zachary's asking, have you been able to get FTMO Quick Trade Manager to work? So I don't use a Quick Trade Manager because I only have one account, Zachary, with FTMO. Um, and I don't take what's it called? I don't take the scalp entries with them anymore, so I haven't used it. But yes, I've taken a trade with FTMO, and it's pretty much the same as before. It's just I think the FTMO Trade Manager is probably not working because it's well, I'm not sure where you trading from exactly. Are you trading from a international account or a US account? Because for the US accounts, okay, so I think that's where the problem lies because we're on a different platform now. We're on the Wanda Like we're on a different before it was like, FTMO Trader or whatever. I think that that tool works on the FTMO Trader, but I don't think it works on the Owanda platform. So you might want to message FTMO and ask them, just ask them if they have a FTMO trade manager for this specific platform, but we're on a different platform. That's my guess why it's not working. Because I remember before when we used to use the FTMO Trade Manager, you had to be on their specific, you had to be on their server, right? Because before I used to trade a personal account and I tried to use the trade manager on a personal account, it didn't work. You have to trade on that specific FTMO server. So I think that might be the case why it's not working for you now because we're on a different server. They probably have another toolbar for it. Um, you probably just have to ask them because I haven't really looked into their, I can probably look right now. Let's see. Since we have some downtime right now, I'll go ahead and take a little peek to see if I can find it. FTMO, Owanda. Yeah, I didn't even see if they had the let's see, downloads. Did you download the new one, Zachary? Let me see. Go here real quick. Yeah, so they don't even have it on here, Zachary. So I don't think they have a trade manager for our platform. Because I'm looking over here, they only have two apps. They have the Mentor app for MT5 and they have the MT5 extension. Yeah, so here let me see if I can drag this over real quick. Yeah, so they don't even have the trade manager on here anymore. The thing with the trade manager is that it was also on MT4. So, or I don't know if you're using MT5 before, but yeah, they would typically have it right here on the list. So I don't think that old extension works for our new one, unfortunately. Yeah. You might want to message them. If you message them here on the live chat, they might have uh a tool that you can use, but from what I see right there, they don't have anything. At least not yet. Okay, so Paul, here's an example of a sweep, right? So we had a higher high right there, price came up and it swept directly off this lower off this liquidity. There goes an example of a sweep for those of you who are looking for sweeps. Price pretty much stop hunting right there and it went directly off that higher high. We have a new higher high right here. All right, so here we go with the second retest of this imbalance. So price basically retested this imbalance twice. So break, retest, double top right here off this imbalance. And now it's starting to come back down lower. Uh, I mean, we got a messy chart here. There's not really much here to work with. So there's nothing for me to take here, really. My high-low break and retest would happen down off this lower low, but I wouldn't really want to trade within this middle area here. At least not for a directional move. If you guys want to take sweeps here, I mean, that's probably gonna be your best option, but not so much for not so much for directional moves. Let's see. CJ is asking, "Hey Sean, are you using a trade copier for FTMO?" No, because I only have one account with FTMO right now. In the future, yeah, maybe I will, but I'm probably not going to because I'm swing trading on FTMO. So I don't really need a trade copier. I could just set it up manually. Like for example, over here, see, here's my US 30 position. My buy limit's right here at 45,000. This is like my discounted price. So like for example, see how price came down to this area. So if price does come down lower, I'm looking for price to come down, grab my order right here and push right back up. Because I do expect price to push up this week. So this is my entry right here for US 30. This is my entry right here for NASDAQ. I don't know if this will get filled. Again, right here, my discounted price is right here at 23,000. 250. You can see over here our price faked out around this area. I was looking for price to come back down, fill my order right here and shoot right back up. Not looking like it's going to happen, but I'm going to leave it right there for maybe another day. If it doesn't fill today or tomorrow, then I'll probably move it up a little higher. And then over here for S&P. Same thing. So right here, my limit order is right here at 64.50. So you can see the discounted prices right here. Price dropped below this point last week, and it pushed all the way back up. Retest or look to retest this area here. So I'm looking for price to basically fill this gap, right? This huge red candle right here. Looking for it to fill the gap, come back down, fill my order, and then shoot right back up. So if you guys are wondering which positions are these right here, I posted it in the Discord last night. So if you look over here at the announcements, I put it right here, my current swing positions pending. This is for my swing account. So YM at 45,000, NQ at 23,250, ES at 64.50. These are all swing trades. So what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to get these filled, and then I'm going to be holding it until Friday, basically. So what I'm aiming for here is I'm looking for price to fill right here at 45,000, get a bit of a sniper entry, ride this up about 500 to, maybe 1,000 points on a good week, and then pull out later at the end of the week. It's just a swing trade, so it's not like I'm not going to be touching it. I'm just going to let it fill, let it breathe, kind of go back and forth. My stop is set at 500, so I have a pretty nice safety net right there. I'm not expecting it to drop another 500 points, right? Unless we have something crazy happen in the market. So like my entry right here for that swing position is down here. So I'm looking for price to drop lower, fill my swing position, and then come right back up, right? Because I'm looking for that huge, huge push to the upside right here. So basically, if my swing position gets filled, I'm getting in right here. My stop is at like 500 points. It's pretty far down. So let me see. I could probably show you guys this on the higher time frame. I'm gonna go to 240. Okay, so I'm looking to swing that position from 45, which is now where's my thing at? Okay, so I'm looking to swing my position from down here. And I'm basically looking to write it. My stop is pretty far down. So this is my swing position that I have for US 30 right there. I'm looking for price to fill right here, and my safety net's pretty far down. For swing positions, you typically don't like you're not going to expect it to hit a stop loss anytime soon. But I'm looking basically for price to come down here, fill my 45. And if it drops lower, that's fine. I'm letting it breathe. But eventually I'm looking for it to correct all the way back up. So I'm hoping that it hits right. It comes back up for correction by Friday. If it doesn't come this high, it's fine. I'll close out, wherever I can meet profit, probably for a 1-to-1 at least right there. Because if price does come this far, it's probably going to correct back to where it was on Monday or yesterday. And I can get out right there for a 1-to-1. Ideally, it'd probably go for a 1-to-2. I go for a big push. I don't know if the all-time high will get broken, but it might, right? We have CPI data coming out on Wednesday or Thursday, and we have PPI data on Wednesday. So there's a possibility. So that's just a little rundown of like my swing positions. Every Sunday, I'll post on my swing positions, guys. So just make sure to check out the Discord. I'll show you guys where I'm looking to try to get in from. I'm trading all of the main assets or the main indices or indexes, whatever you guys want to call it. And again, those are just swing positions. So they're positions that are meant to be hold for days, if not weeks, if, however long it may take. Yeah. So yeah, so that position that I showed you guys right there, like I said, it's a swing position. I'm holding it for like 500 points, right? So I'm taking it with about like I think 5 contracts for US 30. So 5 contracts times 5 times 750, which is what I was looking for. So I'm looking to make about 18,750 off that trade. If it pushes to 750, right? If it pushes to 500, then I'm looking to make about 12,500. So it's a trade that's supposed to last the whole week. So, it's not like making big profit like how I do with multiple accounts. This is just one account. So one account that I hold for an extended period and I try to make like, this much. There's going to be a lot of weeks where there's no entries, but when there's an entry that comes up and it actually fills and it's a pretty nice push, it's a pretty nice little payout right there. So it's supposed to be a boring position. That's boring position. You wait for it to really drop to a nice discounted level. I look for the fill and I just hold on to it for a couple days. Yeah, a lot said. Thanks, Sean, for the swing updates. Yeah, it's good to know, and if you guys are looking for those entry points, like for example here, we can probably expect price to drop for like the next couple of days and then, have a huge correction back up later in the week. It's just another good catalyst to kind of look for price to probably reach before it bounces. All right, question from Ed. Ed is asking to use Top Step. No, I used Top Step a long time ago, but they don't support NinjaTrader, so I can't copy my trade to Top Step. And I don't want to trade on their platform separately on Top Step X. Top Step X is a good platform, but there's no copier functions with regards to the rest of my other accounts, so I don't use them. Oh, and that goes to your follow-up question. Yeah. So Ed asked, and if so, how do you copy across different platforms? So I don't. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, technically you can. So they offer Rhythmic, but the problem with the Rhythmic is that you have to go through actual Rhythmic and then connect it. So you can only connect like one account, which I always had a lot of issues with. So a long time ago, I did try to copy my trades through Top Step, and what happened was I kept getting errors because you have to, and let me show you real quick. So copying Apex accounts for Top Step process. So the process is it's like you're going through another loop. So you got to log into Rhythmic platform, then and then or I guess you got to log in through NinjaTrader. I think that's what it was. Yeah, you log in. I don't even know if this is available anymore. This used to be available. Um, but basically you'd log into this other platform, which is Rhythmic, and then you'd have to use that login. You'd have to be like active in this platform. If you ever got disconnected from this platform, it would give you an error through NinjaTrader. But you'd have to log in through Rhythmic, and then you'd log in through NinjaTrader, and then you would connect the copier through there. So it wouldn't be like it wasn't like a native way of copying the accounts. That's why like they created their new platform, TopStepX. That copier is pretty good. Like you can use that copier if you want to trade just NinjaTrader TopStep accounts, but it's hard to trade with Apex and other ones because they don't support NinjaTrader. They have Rhythmic, but they don't actually support NinjaTrader or Tradeovate. Um, I don't even know if they offer it anymore, but they used to say that they did have NinjaTrader, but it wasn't NinjaTrader. It was through Rhythmic. So, I mean, Ed, if you want to look through that, you can do that. That's what I used to do. Or they'll give you directions. They'll tell you to log into Rhythmic and then go through NinjaTrader and then use a third party copier. But there was always issues because what happened here is like my Rhythmic would always get disconnected and then it would give me errors on my NinjaTrader. So this is a problem because if I have a copier set up, right, and this gets disconnected, then I'm screwed because that position is gonna be running and I can't get out of it because I can't get it back into the Rhythmic. I always had connection issues with the Rhythmic. So yeah, that would be your process if you wanted to copy Top Step, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you're gonna trade with Top Step, just use their own platform. Use Top Step X, but then you can't copy it to Apex. All right, guys. So this imbalance right here has been mitigated. I'm gonna clean that up. We have a new imbalance right here. Price is now starting to climb back up. So well, this isn't a new imbalance. This is the old imbalance. Price is now retesting the old imbalance. And we'll see where this goes. We have another imbalance right here. This is a bullish imbalance. So we got a bullish imbalance right there. Price broke past this higher high. There's a break and retest right here off this higher high, guys. Only problem here is that the bias here has not shifted yet. So we do have a high-low break and retest right here running to the upside, but we don't have confirmation yet. The overall trend here is still kind of bearish on the lower time frames. So the 1 minute here is bearish. It's bullish neutral. It just crossed above. The 5 minute over here is still bearish. 15 minutes still bearish. So I'm not really convinced that buyers here have taken control. Um, Let me clean this up a little bit. Price is still pushing up. We got price pushing past the imbalance. So the market's doing exactly what I was warning you guys about earlier, right? So I said price over here is probably going to consolidate, and then it's probably going to correct back up, back to open, right? And that's exactly what's happening right here. There was a high-low break and retest off this higher high right here. Price broke past the structure, continued up higher. There's also another higher high right here, which got broken past. But it's just tricky because we're now pushing past this imbalance. And we'll see if price pushes up higher. So I'll try to clean up this imbalance pretty soon. Like, let me see if I could clean it up now. And we can just follow through there. So I'm going to use this as a confluence here because we're starting to get a shift. Market structure is slowly starting to shift, but it's not very, it's not confirmed yet. The 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes neutral, 15 minutes bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour's neutral, and 4 hours neutral. So we got a little bit of a mixed bias here across the board, right? Not very, not very one-sided yet. In order for me to take an entry, I need this to be very, very directional on one side. Yeah, Ed said, yeah, I thought so. Unfortunately, I'm doing a combine with them now, so it seems like I have to switch at some point to scale up. Thanks, though. Yeah. I mean, I like Top Step, guys. Top Step is a good prop firm. They've been around for like the longest, basically. The only problem is, yeah, if you want to scale up with a lot of accounts, you're kind of limited with Top Step, right? Because they only give you like so many accounts. And if you want to trade with any other prop firm that has NinjaTrader or Tradeovate, you just have to use two different platforms. I used to have two different computers, and so I would trade one computer with just Top Step, and I would trade one with Apex. But obviously, you can see how much of a headache that can be if uh, if the trades are moving too fast. All right, guys. So again, like I said, there was an high-low break and retest, which started to set up here, but there's no confirmation yet. Let me see if I can put that thing back here. All right, so the imbalance here is still valid, guys. Hasn't mitigated the imbalance yet. In order for it to mitigate it, it needs to break and close past this red box, which is going to be around opening price. So we got price over here. It's retesting the imbalance. Let's see here if price ends up coming back down from this point, which it probably will. All right. Nothing going on right now, guys. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got price within the imbalance right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm just looking at stuff on the side right now. There's not much for us to look at here to take. I'm looking for price to continue up higher, but you guys can see the volatility is pretty flat. So we're done with this higher high right here. We have a new higher high here, which is currently pending. But you can see here now that price is just kind of going back and forth. Let me take off this imbalance. Uh, yeah, you guys can see here. It's just if I take this off right here, price is kind of just going back and forth between this support right here. Support turn resistance. This was originally a support here. Price broke below it, turned into a resistance. Um, we're just in a big range. So if you look over here, this is the range here. Just going back and forth from this area. Volatility is a little lower. ATR is currently at 18. Not a good time to enter. I was really hoping to kick off this week with like, at least one win or something to start the week off strong, but unfortunately, the market here is not really giving us that opportunity. We still got a lot of time here in the market. It's currently 7:36. We got about 14 minutes until we're 24 minutes until 8 o'clock. So there's still going to be opportunity here for entry. It's just I'm not really looking to jump the gun for any entries here, right? I'm just kind of taking my time. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, not going to force anything here. But like I said earlier, I'm looking for price to push back up over here to opening price. So I'm looking for that correction. And this goes in line with my daily outlook for the day, right? So my daily outlook for the day, it mentioned, likely range bound with mildly upward drift unless a catalyst sparks breakout. So yeah, we're kind of just waiting for that catalyst or that breakout. There's not really much here. Let's go to CNBC real quick. Any updates? I mean, CNBC hasn't even updated anything. Surprisingly, there's no updates from them. Market's been open for an hour now. Last update right here was 26 minutes ago. Yeah, no updates. So it just goes to show that the market here is kind of flat. If they want to manipulate price or they want to push price around, they'll give an update here, but there's like literally no updates at all with regard to CNBC. Let's go to BizTalk real quick. Like literally no updates here. Let's go to Financial Juice. No updates here either. All right, that's cool. All right. So we got price climbing up higher right now. There's possible opportunity right here for another high-low break and retest. The problem with this here being a high-low break and retest opportunity is that the overall market structure is not really one-sided for bearish. Also, looking over here at the overall trend, it's not very bearish. I mean, it's not very bullish yet. So in order for me to take buys here, I need to have some sort of confluence, right? I need market structure to tell me that price is going to be pushing up. On top of that, I need the trend over here to be bullish as well. The 1 minute is currently neutral right now. It's like bullish neutral, but everything else here is still bearish. So I'm not really looking to take buys here at this very moment. Maybe at some point in the future, yes, if we do have a confirmation. Right now, it's just not really bullish at all. The 1 minute here is bullish neutral. 5 minutes bearish, price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. Same with the 15-minute here, same with the 30, same with the 1 hour, and same with the 4 hour. So with that being the case here, it's just not really, it doesn't align with my directional bias. So until it aligns with my directional bias, not really looking to take any bias here at the moment. And on top of that, even if we were to take a buy here, see how there's market structure here? There's a Asia low. This is a problem because if price does push up, this is considered a red flag for me. I could possibly see a manipulation right here and continuation to the downside. So for me, I'm just being smart about my entries, not really forcing anything here and just kind of taking my time with my entries. Ryan is asking what makes it imbalanced. So the reason why there's an imbalance here, Ryan, is because price pushes past it pushes past this area with because price gets imbalanced, right? So like for example, here price is going sideways, and this is a balanced market, right? Because price just keeps going back and forth, and you see these candles typically touch each other. This is an imbalance right here because price over here breaks past this area. It creates an imbalance in price because price is initially supposed to just go sideways right here, but right here, the imbalance is created between this green candle and this one right here. Because see how this big one right here comes up in between, it creates an imbalance in price. So price over here is kind of just going, it's slowly like you can, if you look at these candles over here next to each other, they're all touching each other, right? So this one's touching this one's touching this one's touching this one. They're all touching each other, right? And they're moving in a balanced movement, right? So it's balanced right here. Balance, price comes down, goes sideways, goes up, goes sideways, goes down, goes sideways. This just goes sideways. But right here, this is a small imbalance. Obviously, this is a better example of the imbalance that I talked about earlier, right? So this imbalance over here, this is a more clear imbalance because price over here was going sideways. And then the imbalance right here is between this big red one, or not this big red, it's between this red one right here and this red candle right here. But the imbalance was created by this big red one in the middle. So that's why there's an imbalance. See how price comes back and it retests it? So price pushes away right here, creates this huge imbalance. Price comes back to test the imbalance, but then it comes back down. And see how price is respecting this area right here because now it's balanced, right? Or it's not balanced yet, but if price pushes above this area, then it's balanced because this is where price was before. See how price over here was going sideways? They had this big drop to the downside. It created an imbalance in market. Because when price imbalances like this shows that price is now discounted, right? This is cheap. So what happens here is people think price, or not just people in general, but like the market in general, is expecting this to be the fair value of price. Because price was up here, this here manipulated to the downside, so they're expecting price to correct back up. That's why it's an imbalance. Because now that it's in balance, you're looking, well, I'm looking for, and other people are looking for price to come back to where it was before, right? Price was up here, dropped down super heavily, and we're looking for it to correct back to here so that it can be balanced back in this middle area. Yeah, I know it's tricky. It's like confusing to it to an extent, but if you kind of understand the general concept of it, there's going to be big imbalances and there's going to be small imbalances. Um, this here is a very clear one, this big one, because you can see this huge red candle. This one over here is a small imbalance. It meets the criteria. You're basically looking for price to gap. So see how this candle here is not touching this one? There's a gap in between. So what you would expect here is you're looking for price to, okay, it was going sideways here. It's now in balance to the upside, and you're looking for it to come back down. And then if it comes back to this area, now it's balanced again. But you're going to see imbalances from both sides. Like I think this imbalance here is more of a minor imbalance. The big imbalance is still right here, which is not closed yet. So price is it has not balanced yet to this area. So that's why for me personally, I'm like, okay, if price pushes above here and holds right here, then I'm going to look for buys because I'm looking for price to re-reach this area of balance. Yeah. That's why like the thing with trading is, you can analyze for buys and you can analyze for sells. And you won't necessarily be wrong because some people are going to be looking at this imbalance and then vice versa, other people are going to be looking for this imbalance over here. That's why like you could be right in either direction. You can be looking for a sell because you're looking for this imbalance to retest, or you can be looking for a buy here because you have this balance right here for price to come and retest that area. Yeah, no problem, Ryan. Let's see. CJ's asking, market is dragging today. but I honestly wasn't expecting much with it being Monday. Plus, it's our first day back from NFP. Yeah, and I agree with you too, CJ. I think the market's going to drag until Wednesday when the PPI news comes out, and then Thursday for CPI, and then Friday for consumer price index. A lot is asking, I wonder if there's an indicator that can show imbalances in a more visual way. Yeah, if you watch the videos a lot, there's the liquidity indicator. So this shows you all of the imbalances on the chart for you, so you don't have to mark it up. It's just kind of messy. That's why I don't have it up here. See, all the imbalances are marked up already. Like, see this imbalance right here? I marked this up separately, but if you turn on the liquidity indicator, it's already on there for you. So I'm not sure if you watched the video, but there's a whole video on this liquidity indicator. It marks up all of the imbalances for you. So here, let me go to a clean chart. I'll show you here, or I could show you on this one. Or I'll just take everything off here. So if you turn on the liquidity indicator, refresh this. Yeah, the whole tool is there already for you to use. Yeah. So see how the imbalances here are marked up? So you got imbalance right there, imbalance right there, imbalance right there, imbalance right there, imbalance right there. There's a big imbalance that I marked up earlier, and you have all the other imbalances here. You just got to open the Kodikai liquidity indicator. You go to your invite only, K2 liquidity zones, and then you set your time frame there. Since you're trading on the 1 minute, you can do that. If you want to see something on the higher time frames, like you just want to see imbalances on the 5 minute, you change it to 5 minute and you'll see the imbalances right there. But yeah, just change that to 1 minute there. And it's just messy. That's why I don't leave it on the chart. And I can see it manually. That's how I created the tool. But this will help you identify imbalances. Because you can see price will tend to retest it, right? Retest, retest, retest. And then you have imbalances within imbalances. You got the big one right here, and you got the smaller ones right there. Yeah, no problem a lot. I know that you learn something new every day, right? Uh, and it's good that you're asking these questions because I'm sure there's other people who didn't realize that I have a whole tool for this here. It's just I know how to see with my own eyes, so I don't have to have this on here. But yeah, the tool helps, especially if you're just learning, if you're just learning how to use it. So, all right, there goes that. And let's go back to our main chart here. Okay, so price is finally pushing up higher, guys. Looks like we're finally getting this correction to the upside. Market is starting to now look a bit bullish. And with this being the case here, we may have a push to the upside. So let's see. All right, guys, I'm gonna step away for 1 second. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So, looking at this over here. All right, so we don't really have much here to work with at the moment. This high-low break and retest hit full TP right there, 40 points already. We had another level right here. Price broke above it and pushed above it right there. We have another one right here, actually. I just realized I forgot that I have this set to higher high and higher low only. All right, so we have a possible high-low break and retest again setting up right here. It's going to be at the 48483, it looks like. The thing is, the volatility here is really low, guys. So if you're looking to take this here, I mean, I would say just be careful. This imbalance here still has not been invalidated yet, the big one. So the big imbalance over here has not mitigated yet. All right, so this here might be a possible high-low break and retest off this higher high right here. I would look at the price action. If the price action looks good, this could be a possible decent entry for you to take for a buy. But right now, it has to like really close above this area and hold. So I'm actually liking this right here. I might take this right here for a high-low break and retest. I gotta see it actually hold above this area first, though. No, the volatility is too low, guys. I'm not gonna take it. I was tempted to take it right here. So if you guys want to take this as a high-low break and retest, I was looking to take this here, but it didn't really hold above it that strongly. I mean, it pushed above it, closed, and now it looks like it's kind of just hanging out around here. The last thing I want to do is hold on to this position for too long. I need some volatility here. So in order for me to want to take this trade here, or for me to like really feel confident in it, I would need there to be a very strong bullish bias. I mean, it's pretty strong right now, but it's not very strong. It's like I'd say it's like neutral strong because the thing is this thing here hasn't really shifted too much. Also, the overall trend here is still somewhat bearish. 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes neutral or neutral bearish, 15 minutes still bearish. 30 minute here is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is neutral. So not to say that this high-low break and retest will not work. It's just the market's too slow. I don't want to hold on to this for like 5, 10 minutes, and then it just ends up kind of going back and forth for a long time before it actually pushes. Like, not to say this isn't gonna eventually push up, but the thing is, I don't want to hold on to this position for too long because my stop loss is too tight, right? I have a 20-point stop loss here. So if there's not enough volatility here, there's a possibility that this here may just consolidate sideways here for too long. It may hit my stop loss before it pushes all the way back up. So not exactly the best entry there because the volatility is so low. The ATR is actually really, really low right now, guys. ATR is currently at 15. This is the lowest I've seen it in a long time. 20 is like average, 18 sometimes is okay, 15 is really low. So, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If you guys are in this position right here, great. I'm going to follow it for you guys. I'm not in it myself, but if price does break past this pink box right here, or this red box, this is going to be a mitigation of this imbalance right here. It's a big imbalance, and it may continue to climb up higher from there. It's just, you gotta be really careful with this here because this could also be a fake out. So price may close above here, push up a little bit, fake out and pull back into the range. That's another thing that I was kind of concerned with. Although I do think price is going to push up because, my overall bias here did indicate that price was the likely correct back up. We were going to be range bound and then push back to the upside, which is what's happening here. We do have price testing structure here. This is the opening price. So basically we had price go back to open. Price came over here, dropped a bit, and then it pulled all the way back to open. A slow push to the upside, but it, eventually did make its way back to open like we identified. So it looks like this here is going to be mitigated. Finally, it took it long enough to mitigate. And there. So that imbalance is now mitigated. We now have, let's see, I'm gonna adjust this support a little bit. I'm just gonna put a new one here. This support is off this lower high. Another support right there too. Let's clean this one up. Oops, wrong tool. All right, so that high-low break and retest is running a profit. Obviously I wouldn't fade my own analysis, but you can see here this trade is taking a lot longer than it would normally take for it to hit. Usually this would hit within the first couple 2 minutes or so. This thing is eventually going to hit. Looks like full TP right there for those of you who caught it. So break and retest right here off this higher high. Solid move to those of you who caught it there. It's on its way up a little higher. It's not there yet, but it's bouncing off the support turn resistance. This would, this would kind of turn me off a little bit to this position. I'd probably move my stop loss in profit. So if you're in this position right here, it's on its way to full TP, a few points away, or just 1 point actually. If you are in this position, I do highly recommend moving your stop loss in profit at least to 10 points, guarantee some profits there, and then shoot for the full 40. So I guarantee some profits right here, move your stop loss right there, 10 points. So if price does turn on you, at least you guarantee some profits. And if price pushes the full 40, which is likely, you lock in that full move. So entries are hitting today. I mean, they're not clean entries. They're not entries that I would personally be looking to take. But the entries did hit, I mean, pretty consistently today. Again, if you guys are just joining in, let's take a look at all the entries for today. We had the momentum breakout over here, full TP for 100 points. We had the orb entry over here, full TP for 40 points. We had a couple entries over here, a directional move to the downside for high-low break and retest, full TP. Sweep right here, full TP. Sweep right here. High-low break and retest right here. And then another high-low break and retest, which is currently running in profit. It's on its way up right now, not to its full target yet, but it's a few points away, not too far. Yeah, not too far at all. Uh, so, all right, guys, if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's about to be 8 o'clock right now, so I'm about to log off for the day. Yeah, this is my cutoff. So I stopped trading at 8 o'clock. You guys can see the volatility here starting to die down even more. Dang, the ATR is really, really low right now, guys. 13 ATR. So there's no need to force any trades right now. I wouldn't even bother getting into anything right now. You'll probably be stuck holding this position for an extended period. So again, right here, like I said, this trade, the volatility's dead. This is probably gonna go sideways for a bit. This is what I was worried about. Like I was expecting price to eventually push up, but I was worried that it was going to consolidate right down here for a while, and then kind of just go in limbo between profit and negative. Let's see. I just want to see this here hit full TP before I log out for the day. It's almost there. And there we go. Full TP right there for 40 points, guys, if you guys caught that. So nice work for those of you who caught it. If you guys didn't catch it again, this is one of those days where I kind of took it a little easy and I was just I just wasn't I was on the fence right now for a lot of entries. Ideally, I was looking for buys. So my main bias for today was for buys, bullish moves. This is actually a confirmation for an orb high now. It's a late entry for orb high. So this would have been my traditional entry. I was waiting for this to happen earlier this morning. I was looking for that orb high to hit, but unfortunately did not hit. The sell here did hit, but yeah, the orb high, this is what I was looking for initially this morning. So it's all good. But all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the day. Volatility here is pretty flat, so there's no need to force anything. If you guys need to take any more trades, I would say just wait until tomorrow. This week's probably going to be a little more choppy until Wednesday, guys. So tomorrow might be the same type of market. We might get this big range with a continuation to the upside. And then come Thursday or come Wednesday, we have PPI, Producer Price Index. And then Thursday, we have Consumer Price Index. Then Friday, we have Michigan Consumer Sentiment, three back-to-back inflation days with high impact news events. So I would say, play careful tomorrow because we're probably gonna be in this range, have some sort of long-term bias. And then on Wednesday, you're gonna start to see more of a directional push, more volatility, more directional push. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. It looks like I answered all the questions here, so there's nothing else to look at. And that's about it.